What's up, guys? Josh here from P4S Golf, where we drive golf performance. So today I wanted to bust a few myths for you and talk to you about 3 of the big myths that golfers unfortunately really believe is true about themselves and maybe their game, and also their health and fitness in general. So the first myth we hear a lot from people when they first start with us is, I'm just not flexible. Like, I've never been flexible. When I go and try and touch my toes, like, oh, I just can't touch my toes. Okay, I've never been flexible, never been able to do that. And we'll often see that from people. And after several weeks, maybe months of working with somebody, we make increases in the range of motion, and they're able to touch their toes. A big reason for this is because people will often do a lot of static stretching. So often with that toe touch, they'll just sit here and hold this position for long periods of time, like 30, 60, 90 seconds, just hold it, just hold it. So that's what we call passive range of motion or passive mobility. Big thing you want to be able to do is increase your active range of motion. That's your body's ability to actively take a joint through a range of motion. So imagine if I was laying on my back here, let me just do it right here so you can see. If I was laying on my back and I had somebody lift my leg up and pull it up, or if I even just pull my leg up, that's as far as I can get it, okay? Now, that's my passive range. If somebody actively helped me or helped me do that. Active range of motion is keeping my knee straight. How high can I get my leg? Okay, that is my active range of motion, because I'm not assisting myself into that, or I'm not having somebody else pull on my leg, okay? So your passive range of motion is always going to be greater than your active range of motion when it's unassisted. But if we can get your active range of motion closer to your passive range, you're going to have a lot more functional range to work through. This is especially important when we get to your 4 rotary centers, which I'll talk about in a minute. But we combine that with soft tissue work, okay? Doing trigger point release on very key muscles that are blocking range of motion for certain muscles. So the combination of those 2 things is really going to help your body's ability to move around joints, and all of a sudden maybe you can't touch your toes, but you can get closer. You may have started from here, and then you can get to here, and if you keep working on it, you'll be able to get to here with straight knees. You'll also be able to probably rotate around your trunk a lot more. You'll be able to rotate your neck a lot more, rotate your hips better, and rotate your shoulders better, which is what we need to do in the golf swing. You need to have those 4 rotary centers, your neck, your shoulders, your spine, and your hips all rotating really well. Golf is a rotary sport. Doesn't matter how strong you are, if you can't rotate efficiently and through a good range of motion, strength doesn't really matter that much, and you're probably going to end up stiff, sore, or even injured. So do yourself a favor. If you haven't already done our home mobility assessment, it's totally free. You can click on the link in the description, see how you do. It's just 4 tests. If you can't rotate well around those 4 rotary centers, that's where we need to start. Okay, so not being flexible, maybe you just haven't been working on the right things, and you just need a little guidance and being pointed in the right direction, and you can make great gains in your mobility specific to golf and life in a very short amount of time. Okay, you can make great improvements, and you'll notice it in your golf swing and how your body feels. The second big myth I wanted to talk about was speed in golf. Okay, and I even heard someone, on in a golf tournament, one of the broadcasters was talking about speed and saying, well, for most people, the speed you've got is really the speed you've got. You can't really get much faster than that, which is totally false. Everybody, right now, you have a certain limit to how fast you can swing the club, yes. Can we get that limit higher? We certainly can. We need to look at a few things, though. We need to look at how fast can you currently move the club, okay? And also, we also need to measure how much power can you put out? Like, how high can you jump? How far can you throw? Those things will tell us. Those 2 key tests will actually tell us a lot about how much power you're able to output and whether that is close to your actual swing speed. So we can tell very quickly whether someone is overpowered in their golf swing or underpowered in their golf swing. So if we know that, then we can actually work on improving your strength and power in your lower body and your upper body. That's going to increase your horsepower, and that's going to give you the ability to swing the club faster. So the fact that you can't really get your swing much faster and the speed you've got is what you've got is totally false. You can definitely increase your swing speed. You just need to work on the right things. Typically, within 12 weeks of working with us, the average golfer sees about a 3-mile-an-hour club head speed gain. Over a year working with us, even remotely, you know, a golfer can typically see at least 5 miles an hour, maybe 8 miles an hour over a year in terms of a club head speed gain. So it's definitely possible. We see it all the time, over and over again. So if you're interested in that, you can get connected with one of our virtual coaches. Doesn't matter where you are. You can book a free strategy call. Click the link in the description for that, and we can sort you out. Our third myth that we want to talk about is balance, okay? So golfers will say, often we'll get them to stand on one leg to see how their balance is. You might even get them to close their eyes like that to see how their balance is and how long they can stand up. A lot of people will say, well, I'm just not very balanced, okay? When I try and, you know, go into my follow through and my swing, I don't get all the way onto my left side, and I don't, you know, I feel like I'm unsteady. So I just kind of hold off my finish. That's often the case because, one, mobility has not been addressed. I talked about this before. Those 4 main rotary centers, your neck, your shoulders, your spine, and your hips. They're non-negotiables in the golf swing. If you want to play at a decent level and you want to play somewhat consistently and not be at risk for injury or being stiff and sore all the time, those areas need to be able to rotate. If you can't rotate around them, it's kind of like your joint when if I can't rotate here well and I can only turn to here, what's going to happen? I'm going to use my arms for the rest of the swing and I'm going to lose consistency, okay? So if I can't rotate enough, I'm going to compensate somehow. And typically over 18 holes, you make a lot of swings. That's a lot of times your joints just hit a wall, so you have to compensate and you try and get through that wall, and that's why you end up stiff and sore. So the big reason golfers lose balance is because if they try and swing a little faster at the end range, their body can't rotate, so they're going to start to, you know, stumble a little bit. So if we look at your rotary centers and restore mobility to those key areas, especially in the hips, the shoulders, and the spine, you're going to find that it's much easier to move through the swing because you can actually start to rotate better, and you're going to find that your body has found a bit more range of motion or a new kind of default parameter to work within in your golf swing, and you can actually make a full swing and not fall over. So your brain, I should say, starts to take that governor off of your golf swing because you've got the actual mobility to get through a swing in balance. So that is another key myth that golfers may believe about themselves, like, I've just lost balance, I might be just getting older. It's never too late. We've got people that are in their 70s and near 80s that are still working at getting better, they're improving, they're maintaining strength, they're actually sometimes gaining club head speed. So you don't have to be the myths that you believe about yourself. Hope you found this video helpful. Again, like, subscribe, click on the link for the home assessment and or book a strategy call. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.